I actually kind of like the way that Ross managed the game from a pinch hitting standpoint. And you kind of talked about it a little bit with, Hayward pinch hitting for Simmons. But what I noticed was, and we've been banging the drum for Nelly V. I'm just going to keep calling him that right now. Nelly V to get more playing time, to start games. He finally started today. Yes, it was a getaway day, which it's like
also against a lefty.
And against a lefty, that's a key part of this, because if it was against a righty, probably wouldn't have been starting again, right? And he did good against a lefty, so they feel more comfortable with him against the lefties right now. And he might always just be better against left-handed pitching. A lot of right-handed hitters are like that. Mm-hmm. Even a lot of left-handed hitters better against right-handed pitching. We see that a lot. But the thing is, you got to kind of let him sink or swim. We found out he could swim at second base. You got to kind of let him swim a little bit against right-handed pitching as well. But like when the game was kind of on the line, like when the game was Cubs were making their comeback there, I kind of liked the fact that even though he was having good at-bats and everything, the fact that they did pinch hit for Ortega, because Ortega had been swinging a pretty good bat lately, and it's a right-handed pitcher. And if this team was competing right now, those are the type of managerial decisions and moves in game that I would look for and want to see, right? Because yes, they're not playing for anything for wins and losses this season, but those are the types of moves that I'm kind of looking at Ross and being like, what are you doing in these decisions, right? And so I like that decision from his standpoint of going to Ortega there, and he drew a walk, right? So would it have been great for Nelly to just finish out the entire game? Yeah, of course. But you also want Rafael Cortega to kind of boost his trade value even more, and he's doing that. So I guess that was something that I pointed out or that I noticed. And then also the Alfonso Rivas, who came in off the bench cold as well, pinch hitting for Higgins, and then he had a great at bat. And then the 2-strike approach, like you mentioned, that's just a great job by Rivas there. He's kind of building off of that grand slam that he hit the other day. So a lot of positives, even though there's a lot of negatives too.
Yeah, and one thing I will give credit to Ross too, right? Because when you're sitting there kind of in a vacuum, right, and watching that at bat that Hayward takes in extras, he made the right pinch hitting decisions in that 8th inning to get them back, right? You bring in Ortega to face a righty, he walks. He's been having great at bats lately. You bring in Rivas to face a righty versus Higgins, he delivers and gives the Cubs the lead. So those are good managerial decisions. So I'm not faulting Ross for that. What I think this just exclaims what the problem is right now with this roster, because they are so banged up and not that talented, is that Hayward is essentially the last guy you had available to pinch hit in extras, right? Like, that's just the name of the game. And I think you could maybe nurse some of that pain with not hitting a guy like Jonathan VR in your 6-hole. And maybe hitting him if you are going to hit him in your 8-hole, maybe, right? We see Jason Hayward hitting the 8-hole.
Or just, how about this, Ron? How about just not fucking hit him?
Yeah, or just DFA Vieira and call it a day, right? But again, though, with the state of this roster where it is, right? Like, it's tough when Nico Horner, who's your best hitter on the day, is in your 7-hole. And Velasquez, who had a good day, and it would have even then been Ortega, who's been a good hitter lately, is in your 8-hole. In that situation going into extras versus, no offense to Yan Gomes, just he didn't have a great day at the plate in the DH spot, and then ultimately becomes Hayward because Simmons was in for VR, right? That's like the deadly trio there. And it's ironically in the 6th spot, right? So you can sit 6-6-6. Anyway, I'll leave my stupid jokes to myself. But again, like, I agree with you, right? Like, he made the right moves in that right situations. It just sucks that this roster is so fucking depleted right now because Seiya Suzuki's hurt, right? Like, a lot of the talent that was there that was supposed to be bench guys aren't there right now, right? Like, VR wasn't supposed to be an everyday starter. He was supposed to be a bench piece because guys like Nick Madrigal is supposed to be playing. Well, Madrigal's hurt, same thing in the outfield, right? Like, even if Velasquez isn't up on this team right now, Seiya Suzuki's your right fielder, probably not, and maybe in that situation, maybe he doesn't pinch hit, right? Like, obviously, I don't think Seiya's in the 8 hole in that situation in the 8th inning. But like again, if that's your right fielder and it is Seiya Suzuki, even if it is a right-handed pitcher, Ross is probably letting him face that guy. And then when the extras comes around, you have Ortega on the bench, right?
Yes,
it's just a matter of this roster so depleted right now that Ross made the right moves when the time was right, but then he was just shit out of luck of options and extras. And that it comes back to bite him because he's just out of options. It's like David Ross can't go pick up a fucking bat and go out there in extra innings and pinch hit. You know what I mean?
I wish he would, to be honest.
Yeah, shit. He might be better than some of the options on this team right now because, like, that's just where they are.